picture this. You're walking home, it's late, it's quiet, and then suddenly, crash, a loud noise right behind you. Before you even know what's happening, your body has already taken over. Your heart is hammering in your chest, your muscles are coiled tight, and you feel that jolt of energy. Well, that powerful automatic response is exactly what we're going to break down today.
I mean, it's a feeling we all know, right? That split-second panic when a car cuts you off, or the butterflies, or maybe bats in your stomach before a big presentation. These aren't just vague feelings. They are incredibly precise physical events, all orchestrated by an amazing system inside of you.
And the master controller for all of this is your nervous system. It's this mind-bogglingly complex web of electrical and chemical signals. But for today, we're going to zoom way in on one specific part. The part that basically acts as your body's built-in alarm system. Okay, let's get right into it. You've probably heard the phrase fight or flight a million times. It's that deep, primitive, automatic response that gets you ready to either confront a threat head-on or, well, run for your life. And the system that pulls that alarm cord, that is the sympathetic nervous system. And here is the absolute key. Its main job, really its only job, is to get you ready for intense action. It's not concerned with digesting your food or thinking about your plans for the weekend. Its focus is laser-sharp, immediate survival. So to really get a handle on this system, we need to see where it sits in the bigger picture. How does this emergency response unit get its orders from the main headquarters? All right, I know this chart looks a little busy, but the path is actually pretty straightforward. See, all the commands start way up at the top in the central nervous system. From there, the signal goes to the automatic division, and then, boom, right there, that's our guy, the sympathetic nervous system. It's the branch that handles all of our automatic emergency reactions. So, the alarm has been pulled. Now what? Let's take a look at the actual playbook, the specific instructions that the sympathetic system sends out when it's go time. And this quote really just nails it. It's not about subtle adjustments. It's about a massive, body-wide mobilization to deal with a crisis, right here, right now. And this is what that looks like in action. Your heart rate goes through the roof, your pupils get huge to let in more light, blood gets rerouted to your big muscles, your airways open up so you can suck in more oxygen, you start to sweat, and yeah, your hair literally stands on end. That's actually a leftover trait from our ancestors to make us look bigger and more intimidating. Wild, right?
Is an absolutely incredible response. But how on earth does the signal get from the command center to all these different parts of the body so fast? Well, it all comes down to some really clever biological wiring. So, where does this all kick off? It all starts right here, in the middle section of your spinal cord. There's a specific column of nerve cells that basically acts as the launch pad for the whole fight or flight response. This is ground zero, where the initial go signal gets fired off. Okay, so once that signal leaves the spinal cord, it needs a way to travel up and down the body to reach everything from your eyes to your legs, right? To do that, it hops onto what you can think of as a neural superhighway. And this right here is that neural superhighway. You see this chain running right alongside the spinal column? That's the sympathetic trunk. It's like a central distribution line. The first nerve fibers connect to it, and from there, new signals can be shot out to the heart, the lungs, the skin, basically wherever they need to go. So a signal that hits this trunk has a few options. One, it can connect with a nerve right at its own level and head straight out. Two, it can travel up or down this superhighway to exit at a totally different level, which is how a signal from your mid-back can end up affecting your pupils, for example. Or three, it can pass right through the trunk to an even more distant cluster of nerves. This flexibility is the genius of the system. It's what lets a single alarm trigger such a massive, coordinated body-wide response. But, electrical signals aren't the whole story. To jump across the tiny gaps between nerve cells, the system needs chemical messengers. This is the fuel that really powers the entire operation. As you can see here, different branches of our nervous system use different kinds of neurotransmitters. You can think of them like unique chemical languages. What one system uses to say, go, another one might use to say, whoa, slow down. So what's the action word for our emergency system? For the most part, it's a chemical called norepinephrine. That's the stuff that tells your heart to beat faster. Now, its counterpart, the parasympathetic system, that's the one that handles rest and digest. It mainly uses a totally different word, acetylcholine. But biology is never that simple, right? It loves a good exception. It turns out the sympathetic system actually does use acetylcholine for one key fight-or-flight function, turning on your sweat glands. And it has another really cool trick. It sends a direct signal to your adrenal gland, telling it to dump a flood of epinephrine, which we all know is adrenaline, right into your bloodstream, creating this incredible body-wide power surge.
And all of this brings us to a final and I think really critical point. We have this ancient, incredibly powerful survival system hardwired into us. But what does it really mean to live with that system in our modern world? See, this whole system was perfectly designed for escaping a predator on the savannah, a super intense but very short-lived physical threat. But today, we're not running from lions. We are firing up that exact same emergency response for traffic jams, for work deadlines, for arguments on social media. And those aren't short-term physical threats, they're chronic, psychological ones. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. This incredible system was designed to literally save our lives. But what happens when that alarm bell is ringing constantly for threats that we can't physically fight or run away from? What's the long-term cost? Could it be that our greatest biological tool for survival is now becoming one of the biggest challenges to our modern health?